37 pitches over the course of a couple of games, got the win, the complete game, 6-inning effort Friday. As you see her scouting report, that changeup has been really good. Always a challenge sometimes, pitching in 3 straight days. Will your stuff be as sharp? Will it be as good? Very good in relief last night. And Lelio on the first pitch of the game. Well, Sky went out to left, caught by Kramer. And again this afternoon, she's going to sky one to center, traveling to Reagan Johnson, who will make the catch, and there's 2 outs. But Rhodey got one out yesterday. Only long ball in this series. It's rocketed right to Reagan Johnson. How about that? 2 flyouts and a lineout. Because it's an Arkansas team that has not homered in 3 straight games. So that's a little bit unusual. Good bunt. Maybe another hit for Reagan Johnson. Indeed it is. 51 hits for Reagan Johnson. A double-figure hit streak, and she's on base yet again. And it's the South Carolina staff, Sydney, that I think has done a really good job changing speeds. A couple of years ago, I know it was a painful remembrance because Arkansas was pounding balls foul. They were trying to get pitches to drive, and Texas was not willing to give them something. Kramer pounds one to right, but caught by Knight. Well struck, but an out.
Correct. And I even think within that, less than 2 outs as well, and they're walking her to load the bases. And, I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Count's gone full. 3 infielders on the left side of the diamond. Ellis with a mile-high pop-up. Not an easy play for Rhodey, and she's going to get there. There was a split second of trepidation where I thought that wind was going to carry the ball away from her, and there was no teammate.
Side of on the field in game, spending as much time with them as she can during practices, and she really wanted to note that this is a very selfless position group.
Hard hit and fair. Pass Chansey rolling into the corner. Vincent's going to cut it off, though, to keep Johnson from scoring. And Sydney, left field in this ballpark. But after the visit, Wyckoff reaching for one and skying it out to left in foul territory. Vincent makes the catch, and softball team had a joyous win with their comeback. Chansey socks one. Well hit right center field. This ball's got a chance, and it's going to go! Clearing the wall in right center field. The second home run of the season for number 2, Ella Chansey. First.
When it's time to bring in our number 2 to look to get the save or come in when we're ahead, is who's it going to be that we can rely on?
Knight hits one hard to Rio. Well, nice play, and Arkansas is going to get 2. And then the quick exchange was fantastic. Another 3-2 from Heron. Wave and a miss. Changing speeds, getting Sellers to K. Nice pitch to end the frame. It was already by her, but Shelton was still close enough where she could have made the play. Regardless, Courtney's out there again, and let's see if it happens again. We've seen that a ton this year. Runners getting hit by ground balls. Rio socks one to left. This starts to carry over the head of Vincent, over the fence. Opposite field home run from Rio. The ball's jumping today at Bogle, and each team has a 2-run homer. 5th home run of the season for Rio, and Oppo shot.
The way that we swing the bat as an offense, it provides so much alleviation for our pitching staff because they know.
That one sucked to right, and I didn't know if Knight was going to get there. She was turning those hips left and right, but she was able to get back and make the catch on the track. Not now. Put your seatbelt on.
And more times than not, you're going to have some wind blowing up here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Not a lot of fun for those outfielders, to say the least. That's deflected to the shortstop Blankenship. My goodness, she is really good. Bobby DeMeo, our third base umpire, Thomas Meyer at first. Here is Reagan Johnson. She hits a pop-up. This is over the screen in a couple of rows.
No,
she'll be feeling that numbness or sting for a while. Long fly out, hard ground out after the home run from Rio. Johnson, another little tapper, and another infield base hit. She continues to have an amazing stretch. Reagan Johnson's now 5 for 8 this weekend. Little dribbler to third. Chansey will take it across the chalk in foul territory. Each team with a 2-run homer. Hard ground ball back to the circle. Fielded by Lamb, and that will end the inning. But Sydney, Italia Rio even up this game with one big swing. A successful plate appearance. I don't know if I subscribe to that. If you get on base, it is. If you don't, it may not be. Kramer with a long run into a slide and can't get there. He was drafted by the Nationals in the 20th round, didn't sign. Arkansas will see him in Gainesville at the end of April.
And one thing that I read is that they have an internal family motivation award, and that the dad gives out a championship belt each week after play to the best player.
That ball socked her right. It's going to carry over the head of Wyckoff and get up off the base of the fence. Carly might be going for the belt this weekend. She doubles to send Vinson to third. We have seen some routes in right field this weekend that have been a little bit bizarre, kind of in 33 straight games. This will be 34 the easy way.
And I'll tell you, Brett, this is just going to add to the
No place to put Lexi Winters. Big pitch from Heron. Little tapper that Davidson is going to throw home, but Miller wasn't on the plate, and everybody's safe, and Carolina scored a run. Nancy has a chance to make that prove costly. Soft pop-up pursued by Ellis, and she'll get to the screen, and she ran into that stanchion, and it might have hit her right on the head. There's only one area in that dugout where it would provide a bit of a blow. And
dugout and into the pole.
Did the ball hit her as well? For her senior day, Arkansas doing things a little bit differently, where they're not waiting to the final home game to honor all seniors. They're giving.
It's a huge moment where South Carolina, just one swing, could really break this open.
And a payoff pitch to Chansey on the ground past Rio. That's a base hit. Everybody moves up a base. And it's 4-2 South Carolina. To get an out, begin this process of accumulating 3. Another one.
At the plate, she is a captain on this team. I thought it was so interesting to listen about how they go about their captain system through the nomination process at the end of the fall. They even have to go through interviews to, be selected as a team captain.
Comebacker. A throw to Miller. Down to first. The 1-2-3 double play will end the third inning. Maybe a bit of a break for the Razorbacks, but the Gamecocks score another 2 to jump back in front.
And to go back to her tweet, I just love it because it shows the mindset and mentality of Bree.
Gets under one and skies it to center, but playable for Lelio, who makes the catch.
And to go back to that thought, I saw her in an interview this past week where she was basically saying, throughout my career, those numbers went away just where it was our names up on the scoreboard.
Ella was almost waiting on that pitch. She was kind of leaning a bit, but still threw a barrel the ball and rolls it into left for her second single.
Play at Bogle Park, and our players aren't affected by it. They have that sense of just getting out there no matter what field they're playing on and just staying the course.
I think it's easier said than done, and that'll be a pass ball, by the way, charged to Winters to allow McDowell to advance. Let's see what happened here. Not sure if she just botched it, but it hit the plate umpire, Amarius.
Pitching change was made with in and at bat at a 3-2 count.
3-2 count. That one skips away from Winters. Another free base. McDowell sprints to third, rounds and holds. It. Fly ball might chase home another Razorback run, but Lamb going after Wyckoff and getting the wave and a miss, so that was huge. The power that Day brings is a little bit different. It's hard to hit home runs on command, though. This ball is poked and foul as Blankenship tried to make the sliding catch.
The lineup has shifted, as Coach Courtney Deifel discussed, that they just haven't found what clicks quite yet to them in their eyes.
To the backstop, here comes McDowell, and Arkansas is going to get a free run. Pass ball, wild pitch, and it's 4-3. Pitching rubber. Here's a 3-2 today, and that's not close. So she has walked in both of her trips to the plate today, representing the tying run. And Natalia Rio, who homered in her last at-bat, gets a chance to do it again. Here's Rio. She socks one to right. Knight will drift in and make the catch. So one pitch will end the inning. Arkansas gets a run, but even though he could be one of the top 10, quarterbacks in the country. But it's the new era we live in. It's going to be a swing and a miss and a throw to first, where Not quite the ratio strikes to balls maybe she's had in some other outings. But maybe, in a sense, Sydney, it speaks to trying to stay away from the heart of the plate. Then we'll get our plate umpire. Or
Miller
get Kennedy Miller.
Took a tough shot
She
right
sure did.
back.
Ooh, deep breaths. Kennedy.
And this ball off of Sellers' bat, just straight shot back to Kennedy Miller. But in general, but these two catchers of what they've faced today.
I think that's a good thought process. Ellis quickly responds and fires to Davidson, and Arkansas gets out of the inning with no damage done, and the Arkansas Razorbacks come to bat. But work to do. High pop-up.
Can we get it, Brett? Oh.
That was our chance.
We're going to need to get into the batting cage after the game's over and get some reps in.
Problem is my shoulder hurts like a son of a gun. That ball's driven in the air, deep left. When it lands, it'll be a tie game, and it almost found the parking lot. Carly Davidson got one up, out, and long gone. It's a 4-4 contest. I don't need any loopy pitches.
No, you've got to have the speed to
Amen.
help your power.
Miller rolls one to Shelton. She'll gobble it up, throw out Kennedy for the first out of this.
Speed really never slumps. You may get into a little bit of a lull, but when you have so many tools in your toolbox to utilize against a team and a defense, it gives you that much more ability to utilize to get on base.
One of the coaching staffs kind of just run through the cycle where you have some success, you've gotten it as far as you can go, but it's hard to sustain it. They have sustained it here. They're trying to win this series, though, and Kramer's going to take ball 4, and that's a big walk because it'll bring up Bree Ellis down and in or up and in, doing whatever they can to stay away from that hot zone. Even there, she came in and got Bree on those hands to where you hit it foul on the third base side. And
absolutely, and that's one thing of the pressure of pitching to Bree Ellis is you cannot make that mistake. But they have been working hard, like you said, Brett, hard down and in, hard up and in.
Tried to wait on that one. Was that the change?
That was the change-up. Personally, being a softball instructor, that's what I teach my girls.
Soft pop-up out in the center. This might be caught. That was a nice effort. Good play by Shelton. She had to hang with it. But Carly Davidson able to connect. This trip across the country to play in South Carolina. She was at Oklahoma, and I think her family felt like that was a long ways from Cali. Hard hit to Davidson. She'll scoop it up and throw out Lelio to begin the 5th inning. Rhodey on deck. That one's popped up and out of play. A few weeks ago, we were talking about that evolution of her changeup and really discussing kind of a unique break or spin to it. And that's in, and that's getting some spin where the hitter can't stop her swing. The ball hits the bat, comes up and hits her in the face mask. With no mask, it would have been in her nostril like Courtney Day.
Get that far underneath her hands to create that.
And that's right down the pipe. Strike 3 to Shelton. She trots to first. Shelton thought it was ball 4. She gets all the way to first. She couldn't believe it. Now, the pitch was right down the chute, but Amarius Addison took a little bit extra long. She had back-to-back strikeouts of Winters and Knight, and Dorian and I said, I think she just flipped the switch. How about that liner? Back to the circle, and Herod spears it. Everything came easy for the Razorbacks for that stretch where they had 14 unanswered runs. It's hard to do that. It was a little bit like Rory McIlroy going 9 under in a 13-hole stretch at Augusta. Everything. The Hogs, though, have never had a lead. Lifted to Lelio in center, fighting the winds. That was not a comfortable catch in center. Gressa's pitch. Lifted to Lelio. Sunglasses on, though, and she will track it down and make that catch. So she's had flare out to Vincent and left, who is playing shallow. She'll make the catch. Arkansas hit 3 balls in the air, nothing to show for it. They go in order. Still no doubt. And it's really the challenge, as winners will fly one out to right, and this ball will be caught by Wyckoff. And along those lines, Sydney, there was a pitching stat or stats that caught my attention. Over 230 this weekend. She gets the wave of the miss. Chansey chased the rise ball, and Sydney, there haven't been a ton of pitches up in the zone, but what a time to throw it, and she gets the swing and a miss. Then Heron caught the line drive by Rhodey right back at her coconut to end the 5th, and has fielded her position nicely today. That's poked out to right, so that's a base hit from Blankenship, which will end the streak of 9 straight Gamecocks that have been retired. Blankenship has to go around Bree, and that one socked to right center for a base hit. Johnson will cut it off. Blankenship goes to third. Back-to-back 2-out singles, and the Gamecocks have runners on the corners. Here we go, and a 3-2 is on the way. Wave and a miss. Sellers chase the high one. Heron gets the K, and the Gamecocks strand 2 and scoring more than 3,500. Today about 2,900, but that doesn't count the 80 dogs. Mile-high fly ball to Lelio off the bat of Rio, fighting the sunshine and the breeze, and she'll make the catch, and that is stray balls hit in the air that have been recorded as outs against Gress. Put the Hogs in front. Another one popped up. Blankenship used her hand to kind of shade her eyes, and Arkansas is really in elevate mode, and bloop to center, base hit. So Harrison gets the single to keep the inning alive and turn this lineup over. But as Reagan Johnson comes to the plate, she's not somebody that has hit a lot of balls in the gap where maybe you could score a run. You still might need another. Corners creeping in. Chansey from third, Rhodey from first. Socked into left, a base hit. Hard contact. Wood goes to second. She represents the go-ahead run. It will take potential at least one more hit. Will Gress give Kramer to hit? Nothing. And that scenario we just forecasted, you don't want to walk her here either.
Not going to be able to work around her and allow her.
For Gress. She's jumped ahead 0-2. Here's the offering that is down, and there was the changeup, and maybe Bree expecting that pitch. High game, the pitch to Ellis, and it hit her. It grazed her on the elbow. Bree Ellis gets an RBI the easy way. And for the first time today, the Razorbacks have the lead. Pokes one to second. There is Shelton. She'll make the play to end the inning. Arkansas leaves the bases loaded. For the first time today, they have the lead as we go to the 7th.
And keeping South Carolina off balance, especially these last 2.5 innings.
Ground ball to McDowell. Strong throw to first. One big out. Every weekend is such a battle in the course of this conference. And sometimes it comes down to Sundays to decide a series. Sometimes it comes down to that last inning on a Sunday to do just that. That one's rocketed into center. It'll drop in front of Johnson. That's a big hit. It brings Shelton to the plate. Struck out against Robin in the 5th. Paints the corner for a called strike and win that game to win the series 9-5. It has been every bit of battle today at a windy afternoon at Bogle Park. The 2-strike pitch. That is going to be a strikeout. Did she foul it or did she just swing and miss?
I heard
she get a piece
ball
of
hit
it?
the bat. Yeah, she got a piece of it.
I thought she swung and missed and the ball hit her, but enough contact made that even on a pitch that was trending right.
Well, it is trekking right at Shelton. She definitely gets a piece of it, hitting her up in her face mask.
Remember what I was saying about the rise pitch? Or if that technology was even available. I know nothing's cheap in today's day and age, but this game's still very much alive. 0-2 the count to Shelton. Another big pitch from Heron. Popped up, foul, Ellis over, but it's going to be above the dugout and into the seats.
We've seen it all, almost it all today here at Bogle Park.
Another 0-2. Past Ellis, into right, that's a base hit. What a big sequence.
We've seen it all, almost it all today here at Bogle Park.
Another 0-2. Past Ellis into right. That's a base hit. What a big sequence. Shelton was down 0-2, but delivers the base hit. So now the tying run is at second base. Lelio at second. Shelton at first. Fouled back to the netting.
And she is taking some cuts, Brett. I'll tell you, one thing about South Carolina, and especially Rhodey, is the physicality and the...
To Rhodey. Heron ready. Here comes the payoff. Rocketed back to the mound again. How about a double play to win the game and win the series? Rhodey hit another bullet that Heron speared. Self-preservation and ball game in one fell swoop. What a way to decide a game in a series.
Pitching a complete game to get the win for Arkansas, and the second hard hit ball that's been hit back at her, and she does her job.
Are like of somebody who's just come off the field. Well, we're going to ask Robin Heron just that. She caught the line drive. Robin, how are you feeling this many pitches deep into the weekend and after